Picture this. You got a crying baby somewhere, maybe not in your arms, and you've just broken into your ex-fiance's house, and she is in the hospital vying for her life. I want to know what a judge would say about that situation, and we just happen to have one coming up, Michael Bryant, on the
I
show.
am dying to know as well. That scenario does not sound good for anybody. Kelsey Fitz Simmons case, new stuff today. Trial beginning on Monday, and we're getting into it tonight.
Justice, where are you? Michael and Linda are here.
Love you, Linda.
What is justice? Will we ever find justice?
The courthouse the other day in the hallway, you're singing
Will
"Oh
we
Happy
know
Day."
justice when we see it? To be and Damila lead the way, hoping justice will win the day. It's Nary Clues, finding justice where we can. Join us now, we're on the run. Justice is waiting, we'll see it done.
And hello there. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you along. If you are rejoining, because we had a members first at 4 o'clock, God bless you. That's the endurance we like. And if you did not get to see that as a member, we will be rerunning that on the weekend. It has a lot to do with the Kelsey Fitz Simmons case, as is tonight's primary subject. But first, do we have something we should do? I think we do.
As I was silently standing by, yes, we know on Monday night when you were off playing tennis, I took the verdict in the Corey Richards case.
Yes, you did.
And our members who 1%, 4%, 2 hours and 57 minutes, she was guilty. As a defense attorney told you all she'd be guilty. I'd go in there and I'd sit around the table. First thing I'd say, she's guilty. Well, apparently that's what the jurors did. This morning, ABC News, GMA ran an interview with the foreperson, Laura, juror number 2. We heard her voice in the courtroom. And she had hoped that Corey Richards was going to be innocent, but the evidence was crushing on that. And on deliberations, apparently they were emotional. They went in and they all sat around the table. They said their piece. They were all guilty. There was never anybody who was wavering on any situation. I think it was the poison text that was right after he was killed that did it, Michael, because that's what did it for me. And she kind of answered the question, and she hopes the family gets peace.
So that Norman Rockwell picture that we saw never came into play.
Right, where they're pounding
where the
after
one juror was being leaned over and roughed up.
The sexist juror who's being roughed up by mostly men jurors, and she was female. Well, it turns out the female foreperson, no issue. Okay, so that was my rip and read for the day. Right. I'm ripping it now.
Yes, you are. So you won't read it again. So let's just jump right into this very important case out in my former home state. I have abandoned it in many ways, California. It's a huge case because it impacts kids using social media, and the attack has been on Meta, and I think other subsidiaries. Our guests can certainly fill us in on that. But the question has been: is that social media animal? Is it an addictive animal? Is it by design intended to get kids hooked like a drug, and certainly to their detriment? So we have with us. Whoops, I got the wrong button. Sorry, my bad. Ooh, that was a sneak peek, though. The sneak preview.
Sneak peek, we were saving Judge Ashley. We have Tracy Paulson, who you all know. She's a fabulous trial attorney in Massachusetts. She does a lot of national litigation, and she was on with the PFAS. And now I've learned, in fact, I have over here that New York State's going to allow private citizens to test their own wells now for PFAS. And I only knew it because of you, Tracy Paulson, and thank you very much for educating me.
Well, you got to tell us more about the PFAS because it sounds weird. So
PFAS are go ahead, Tracy, tell it.
About the PFAS or
we have to touch on that now.
Yeah. The PFAS the case is still going forward. There have not been any bellwether trials set yet. So those are coming this year.
So this has to do with water contamination.
They're for public drinking water supplies.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, forever chemicals, right? So when we drink out of these things, those things that are going to their brains, they're probably also in the water when they get washed. Everything's in the water. In other words, I hate to break it to you, but we're all going to die someday. Question
Thanks.
is, are
Breaking
PFAS
news.
are PFAS making it worse, quicker, and contaminating our children?
And
this
when you
is-
were on last time, we talked about that in some detail. It's scary, fascinating stuff, and the work you're doing is so important on that front. So now let's talk about this other poison that might be contaminating more directly the kids' brains. Give us the nutshell. What is the case about? Where is it
Kids?
now? What is the plan by those who are bringing this action?
Kids? Kids? Hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
kids or those who are acting like kids.
Exactly. Well, this does center around harm to youth, to minors, and teenagers specifically. So the question is centering around, this is a landmark case. It's a bellwether case. It's brought in Los Angeles Superior Court right now. It's the first. It's against a plaintiff who they refer to as KGM. She is now 20 years old. The allegation is that social media, it's a product design case, was designed in such a way that it created compulsive use or addiction in minors that led to mental health harms, and that a variety, such as it could be anything from depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation, and so forth. And this is a key distinctive difference because normally a lot of these cases are based around content or user content. And social media companies have often utilized Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act to shield themselves against liability. And that's because
What is
content,
that? What is that?
it's a legislation that basically stating that the social media companies are saying they're not publishers of content, and so they cannot be responsible for third-party content posted to the site.
So
And that
kind of a defamation protection, right?
Yeah, and it's protecting that's saying freedom of speech, that people have the right to post, but they're not responsible for what somebody puts on social media. So this is completely different in that it's targeting the design and whether they intentionally designed, having known the harmful risks to youth, these attributes, right? These designs that would hook young users and then create these mental health harms. So in this particular case, KGM alleges that, when she was 6 years old, she began using YouTube. And then at the age of 9, she began using Instagram. In both of these platforms, along with TikTok and Snapchat, contributed to suicidal ideation and depression in her growing up, and severe depression. Now, Snapchat and TikTok settled before jury trial began. So that's significant. That's interesting. Obviously, this is a settlement, so we don't know the reasoning behind it, but it was most likely a risk analysis based on those companies as far as having public information, a reputational, risk, or not wanting this to be another legal precedent. So currently it's Google as far as YouTube, and the subject of this case is Meta, but specifically through Instagram. Now, the plaintiffs are arguing that defective design, such as design features like infinite scroll, right? That you have a constant feed that keeps these children hooked, right? You have algorithms that analyze behavior of young children and then feed them content that the purpose is to keep them engaged, right? That will keep them scrolling and keep them constantly on social media. Likes, notifications. So it's a reward mechanism that's like endless feedback loops. And they're saying too that children are susceptible to societal pressure, likes and dislikes. This can create things such as body dysmorphia, anorexia, and a whole host of mental health issues. Now, the plaintiffs need to prove that this is a substantial factor in the causation. Now, the defense, which is left, which is YouTube and Meta, they're saying that, social media it's not addictive, meaning that it doesn't meet a clinical definition of addiction, like say tobacco or opioids. They're saying that they do have parental controls options for young users where parents can monitor their behavior, and there's warning signals for, underage young people about as far as alerts that they've been on it too long and that these should, and then also that in this particular case, it's really a lot of the defensive strength is on causation. because they're really saying that this young girl had a, complex history, one that was, there was abuse and neglect in this. And then this happened before she started using social media, and that in effect was the cause of her injuries.
So she had some pre-existing condition, and whatever Meta and these folks did was not superseding enough to the point that that was the actual cause. That's their argument anyway, right?
Correct.
I've seen a bunch of commercials lately where they are touting, whoever they are, that one of these Instagram apps, I think it's Instagram, has 52 different controls on it. Have you seen those commercials where they're just making a big deal out of how you can control what a child can or can't do by flipping a few switches, or some of them are default positions, I guess? What do you know about that?
So I saw those. Interestingly enough, I noticed the TikTok ones after the settlement. But yeah, they're engaging in these obviously for reputation. This is a highly exemplary case that could open a whole new wave of liability around the user content for plaintiffs. And there are thousands of cases of these being brought currently. There is an MDL with 2,000 plaintiffs. These are being brought by municipalities, by state governments, by cities for mental health costs. So the plaintiffs would argue that even though they have these safety controls, right, that parents can limit time, these are optional, right? So you have to opt in. So they're leaving the onus on the parents and also on children, right, to follow these warnings and so forth, and these controls. And also that inherently, what they're still saying is that regardless of these controls, the product itself is designed to create engagement, and it encourages, compulsive use. And that's what leads, especially to vulnerable.
All I can tell you is that I'm always scrolling through my Instagram because I'm getting new things to shop at. And anyone knows me, I'm a compulsive shopper. Okay.
Yeah.
I rest my case, new shirt. All right.
Yeah.
Important to point out, you're on your own. This is not to help you. You're on your own. But the kids, we're trying to help the kids, right?
Right.
Yeah, but if your parent, my point is that if your parents, let's assume I had a youngin', okay, and I'm here scrolling because I'm really liking what I'm seeing, I'm like boom, 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 how am I going to tell my kids they can't be on it when I'm there scrolling through buying, looking at the newest thing to buy?
Sounds like the parenting thing to me.
Yeah.
Parents do have to have some input on this. They can't just say, I couldn't do anything. My kid just kept scrolling and doing things. No, let's be a parent. But the point is, these apps make it harder to parent because it's addictive. It's just like a drug to these kids.
Right. And that's where the argument centers, right? Is this parental responsibility, or is this, right, the social media company, as far as us being a defective design?
So where is the jury now? Because I know when the jury comes back, we're going to have you back on. So where are they now in terms of when did they go out on this?
Sure. They're in deliberations right now, and they have been since last Thursday. And the interesting fact is there's been a lot of jury notes floating around, and they seem to center around the child's home life, right? There was one asking about a video with her and her dad. So they're looking, that may suggest that there is, more scrutiny on her home life contributing to these harms that she endured, and they're really trying to parse that out, because at the end of the day, the question is going to come down to whether social media was a substantial cause of the harm. It doesn't have to be the only harm, but whether it's substantial enough in order to return a verdict.
Yeah. And a jury could find that it's only 10% responsible, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, which would minimize whatever damages they decide to award. Okay. Well, you got to keep us posted on that. We'll definitely have you back on because this is, as they say, landmark stuff. And I guarantee every social platform and app is watching very carefully to find out, how it's going to impact them. So.
Tracy, thank you very much. And, keep an eye on Michael Monday, Tuesday. I know you and Ashley will, because since you're in Massachusetts, especially you, he may need some help. He's going to be up there. He's going to need to be fed,
You just turned Tracy into like my caretaker instead of somebody contributing to the show.
That was a joke. That was a joke, obviously.
It's a joke. I think it's
not that I would turn down the food if it happened to make its way to me.
I rest my case. My case, Tracy. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you both so much. It's always a pleasure.
Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks.
Bye. All right,
Now-
so we're
now-
talking kids.
Now we're talking
that's the goal
kids, but
today.
before we talk kids, as start introducing our person, we have a lot of people that have already at the start, new members, and they're here because we're talking kids. Aunt BB 3270, new member. Okay, Pam L 6404, new member. I don't know if I can read these fast enough. They're coming so fast.
geez.
Kristen Bork
No, Christian Bork,
2845, new
there you
member.
go.
Okay, you read. I'll post. You
Sunny
read.
Days 100.
New member. Okay, go ahead.
Pro Gamer V15. LT Carly. I know a couple Carlys. Floyd Mans, D9S. Brooklyn. We've had a number of Brooklyns. This one's 10952. Aunt Scent. That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, Aunt Scent posted. Normally you're in as Aunt Scent, and then this is to follow Tracy. If
Yes.
you didn't have followed Tracy Paulson, by the way, let me just give you a little clue. She is married to a really good lawyer too, and we had him on last night. That's Michael Del Signor. Okay,
Oh,
and
that's
yeah. In the old days, you'd say she's the better half. Of course, if you're a woman's rights lawyer, you'd still say she's the better half. But I'm a big fan of Michael too. But big fan of both of them.
As I like to say, I see what he sees in her, but I'm not sure what's.
Oh, he's wonderful.
He's a good guy.
There you go. He's a good guy there. Okay, so there you go. She'll be back to talk about that. So with that said, and since we're talking about children's harms, as you were saying, Michael Bryant.
Well, we are very lucky to have with us we're getting the band back together. We have a former Law and Crime colleague who also was a Court TV colleague. We worked there in different decades, but Ashley Wilcott, the judge, how are you? It's so good to see you.
Listen, it is so good to see both of you. I've been following, I listen, and when I got the opportunity and Linda reached out, I thought, this is amazing to me. A, I have so much respect and admiration, but B, you two really taught me the ropes at Law and Crime of talking about cases on air. So it's my honor.
And I would say, let me just say this. I've said it in private to people. I respected so much what you were doing. You were living in Atlanta.
Mhm.
You were flying up to New York to do the show so you could get this thing figured out. And you parlayed that into this amazing position back home in Atlanta with Court TV. And I applaud you for that. I always respected that so much.
Thank you. And I got to tell you, it's because I love what I do, just like both of you do. And covering trials and providing that transparency and all your expertise to viewers and listeners is so key for our judicial system and our system of justice.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we wouldn't do it if we didn't just love it.
Yeah.
We're getting filthy rich, of course, but
Of course.
yeah, we wouldn't do it if it weren't for the love of the system and the process, as aggravating as it can be at times.
Yeah,
Sure,
and here's
still very
another new
important.
member here. Another new member here to join us, Bridget Pike here to join us. And I have to tell you all that we are Justice Served TV. And since we're touting ourselves, please like, subscribe, share, notify, and support Michael, because his food habit next week when he's going to be in Massachusetts is going
Gas
to be big.
prices.
And there
Oh
you
my
go.
gosh, gas prices
Gas
are
prices
through the
too.
roof now.
Okay.
So Judge Ashley, we want to talk about this Kelsey Fitz Simmons case and your history. Give us a little taste of what you've done in the juvenile courts as a judge and how this must resonate with you.
Sure. I have to count myself very lucky and privileged that I have had a career that has focused on what I've loved since the beginning of it, and that's child welfare. So I'm a child welfare law specialist. That's a special certification for those of us who want to take that extra little mini bar, which I did. But I was a special assistant attorney general representing our state agency in the state of Georgia. From there, I moved to be a judge in juvenile court. After that, Governor Deal appointed me, our governor at the time, to be the child advocate for the state of Georgia and the entire state and oversee our systems. And so I've really, I've kind of touched on every aspect of child welfare.
Well, that's
And
nobody's
I
better.
called upon her when
Yes.
I had a case privately to get her advice and opinions about situation, and she gave me advice, and she knows this area inside out, so I can think of no one else. And also we're proud to call her a friend. We love her. And one thing, I mean, you guys in chat, you all talk about my wardrobe and all, and we have Fashion Fridays and all. Judge Ashley and I would exchange like texts and Instagrams, like, oh, I really love that necklace.
Yes, yes, and I have a new one. But what I love is your clothes are so beautiful, but they're a little edgy and they're not the norm. And so it's not something I'm going to, open a magazine and say, oh, there are clothes. And that's what I love. They're just gorgeous.
Yeah, somebody else said that to me today, that we loved about my clothes were edgy. And that's, by the way, what the regular networks don't love. They want to put you in that suit with the thing and the no jewelry and the
no
makeup
fun.
Doesn't have no fun, And Michael and I are of view that if you're going to listen to our opinions, you have to know where we're coming from. And part of where we're coming from is how we dress, what we do in our lives, what our family life is like, because that forms our opinion just like a juror. So we're very big on that. And we think that we find that that's what our members and that's what our audience wants. They want to know who we are, because if they want to respect our opinion, they have to respect us.
But I will say, Michael, I noticed that you left your statement necklace aside today. You chose not to wear yours, but that's okay.
Which one would that be? Oh yeah, it's around here. Wait a minute, it's around here somewhere. I do have this is my verdict watch shirt. I only wear this shirt when we're in verdict watch, or as we call it, justice watch. And so that's because of the Afroman case, which is
but actually, not to be fooled, he does have a dog. I don't know if he's behind him. Domino
over there.
Domino's over there. Domino's a Dalmatian, and since we're talking about a firefighter, Domino is on this side of good of the firefighter, maybe not on the other side. And then of course we always showcase our pets. This is
of course, love it.
So. Okay, Michael, back to you.
Yeah, so we couldn't think of anybody better to get a take on this case. Kelsey Fitz Simmons, of course, everybody knows the case in which this young woman had this child taken from her at 4 months, and it's been 8+ since she has even seen this child. She's had some videos prepared and provided by the father, and that's it. Let me ask you this question first. We're going to be probably a little scattered here at times because we have so many things to talk about. There's so many overlapping issues. We have the family court issue going on with custody and visitation and support, but they had to defer to the bail condition that said Kelsey Fitz Simmons cannot have any contact with the child. So you have these two very different parallel tracks that were effectively respecting one another, I guess. And just recently, just last week, the court changed the bail conditions to allow her to at least try to arrange some sort of visitation or custody, and that's coming up after her trial. How often do you see that kind of conflict, and what do you do?
So I love that you distinguish the two, because sometimes people hear it and think she was charged with a crime. It's not a murder charge. As you all well know, no one was killed. It's assault by pointing a gun allegedly at a fellow officer who was serving a restraining order that was taken out by the fiance. So that's the criminal charge. But to your point, Michael, we have the opposite, which is the family court restraining order. Fiance says she threatened to hurt our child. Unfortunately, I see this more than I should, and I handpick private cases. I've done this for so long that I don't take them every day, but I have to tell you both, I probably have 5 or 6, and I handpick them because of this exact kind of circumstance where you've got parallel tracks between alleged instances that are criminal charges, still alleged because of that presumption of innocence, and they haven't yet gone to court or resolved it, and a custody issue or defects is involved, the state agency, and as a result, that person, in this case, the custody and the restraining order, rely on the bail conditions. That's exactly what happens. This is not unusual. The part of this that, from my perspective, is unusual is you have to look at the best interest of the child. That changes depending on the age of the child. This is an infant, a 4-month-old. Everyone I know, and I'm not judging and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't breastfeed, but the people in my life breastfeed at 4 months. And even if you don't, there is a bond between a mother and a child at that age, that if you physically don't see one another, that bond is interrupted. That can affect that baby's life, even at 4 months, for the rest of the child's life. So what I've been able to successfully argue and achieve, and I know what I don't know. I don't do criminal law in terms of practice. I don't. I go to the experts, right? And hire those experts. But I can tell you this. I work with them to say, listen, the bail conditions need to be changed, because this mother has got to be able to bond with the child. And even more importantly, it is in the best interest of any child to bond with their mother, even if the child's a murderer. The mother is a murderer. It may be that there's a reason that an infant should still see that mother under supervised, appropriate parameters. And in this case, I'm astounded that parameters were not put in place to ensure the baby could bond with the mother. Because what happens next? What happens if she's acquitted? What happens if she's convicted and gets out of jail? What happens if the restraining order goes away, which it eventually will? She gets, excuse me. I get very worked up.
Yeah, no, we all do, especially about this case. We all,
I do.
we all
1
do.
minute.
And by the way,
gosh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm so comfortable
okay.
with you. I'm
That's
getting
okay.
choked up. And it's because I do get fired up about it, because the reality is, even if you allegedly commit a crime and people think, well, that means they're doing things they shouldn't. They shouldn't make those choices when they have a baby at home to take care of. But even with that, it can really affect that 4-month-old to 8-month-old's life forever, to not have the opportunity to bond with the mother again in a safe, appropriate way. Theoretically, she could have done it with the supervision of the grandparents. Theoretically, she could have done it with law enforcement, right? Restraining orders. You both know this. If there's a restraining order in place, but there's an exchange of a child because the restraining order might be between the parents, or you can have these conditions to ensure that they can't hurt the baby, that they're not going to take the baby. I'm astounded in this case that wasn't put in place.
That assumes the judge was not a lunatic, and we believe she was. That's my professional medical opinion. You know, she put all these weird conditions on and put mom in jail for 100 days for violating bail, in her opinion. And so and you can't fix that. I mean, that damage, whatever it is done. And, you know, if they fixed it today, that 8 months it's gone.
That's scary. That's scary and tragic for the child, for her. And keep in mind, it's an assault charge. I keep going back to that because these are the kinds of things I see if it's a murder charge, right? Sure. But when it's assault charge, thank gosh, the other officer wasn't hurt. But I'm just saying, keep it in perspective that her rights have not been terminated, meaning she still has her parental rights to parent her child. And absent a termination of parental rights, there's no reason I can think of that a parent shouldn't be allowed to see their child under the right supervision.
Yeah.
And she was violated on bail, not because she actually violated any bail condition, because she went in asking for the bail condition to be changed because she had the bullet fragments in her chest and couldn't blow in, as you know, to that scram device, was causing such great pain. And the judge said, well, you can't do that. I'm sending you to jail. I mean, it was horrible. It was just horrible. Then she spends 110 days in jail.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And I'm going to say, as a former judge, the thing that always gets to me is I always believed you had to be fair and just. And so, yes, I had to apply the law to the facts and I had to make decisions, but you have to, I think, also be reasonable and rational and just and fair. And again, protect the child, protect society, but don't interfere with the parent-child relationship to the extent that you've, in effect, terminated her parental rights without due process.
Yeah. Hey, real quickly, I saw that Kat Not Williams says there's a verdict in Afroman, so we'll pass that along when it comes through. Hey, I want to share this with you, Judge. This is from last week when the ruling came down that Kelsey Fitz Simmons could live without mommy. And then another condition was that she had to live with her mom. Basically, was her custodian, right? Just, I mean, she was 28, now 29. And so when she came out of the court, I asked her a couple quick questions, but I want to just get your take on her demeanor, her response to this, and just reflect on that. Let me know you guys are hearing this, right?
Way to go, girl! Way to go!
We're all happy for you.
What you're smiling about, Kelsey?
All right, let's just go start left to right, Kels. Go ahead.
So you got one custody battle down. How do you feel about getting a little freedom?
It feels good. Everything I'm asking for and doing is for my son. It's all in preparation for reunification.
Are you ready for this trial?
I'm ready. I'm ready to have my day. I'm not shy to tell my story because it's the truth.
Okay, so just a quick look at her and her demeanor, and this is 8 months in, more than half of that in jail. What's your take on her?
Well, I have one name to throw out. Karen Reed. It gives me Karen Reed vibes, who went through different charges, obviously, but in the same state, in the same city. Turtle Boy was involved in the Karen Reed and really promoting her story, as he also spoke with Kelsey. And I have to say, I think I was pretty impressed that she was as rational and calm as she was, given what she's been through. Think about a mother who hasn't seen their child and was put in jail for the reasons. I have a medical condition, so I can't blow in an alcohol test, and yet that's the reason you're going to put me in jail. I'd be angry. I'd be pissed off. I'd be hiring one of you and saying, I need your help, please. Really, right? And so I think she was remarkably calm, but it's appropriate that she displays and demonstrates she's rational. And even if there were issues in the marriage, and God forbid she threatened hurting her child, that perhaps she's getting the help she needs to be able to safely parent her child.
And so we have some things that we want to go through, not only
We're
with
hearing
that,
some
but
audio from something. Is that the Afroman? What is that?
I don't have the audio on of
Okay.
Afroman. Yeah.
don't
By the
know
way,
what's
when
in
Afroman Cat Now is reporting that is a judgment in favor of Afroman, that's a win for the First Amendment. Justice Serve TV, by the way, did their own song about him, and tomorrow night we'll be devoting a whole show on Afroman with Mark Betteroff, Doug Weinstein, and Jim doesn't know it, but Happy Angry Loyal will also be on Jim Robichard. He doesn't just know yet. So that's a big win for the First Amendment. But let's get back to this, because this is an important, every case we try to cover is important. Yeah. But
Okay, I'm just having some bleed through from some other source. So we also wanted to have you react to these text messages. You want to do those first, Linda, or should we do the text messages? Okay.
why don't we do the Justin calling the police department, because then you look back at the text messages with that.
Okay.
I think it puts it in an interesting perspective, right?
Let me
How he lied.
pull that up.
Excuse me.
Hold on here.
How he prevaricated, in my opinion.
Okay, here we go. I will zoom to the part that we think is most important, because it does start with unrelated. Let's see.
They were there and they get all bent out of shape about that. What you could do is just call us for us to explain that to them.
So my only concern would be I know they're blaming me for a lot of this situation.
Yeah, I get it.
They are there for the potential retaliation or any of the sorts.
Yeah. So you can play it however you want it to play it. I'm going to leave that up to you. One option would be to shoot them a text or anything, and like, just so you know, I'm going back to the house to pick up some belongings.
They would
say no, absolutely not.
I'm pretty sure they would show up.
Yeah. Okay. So what you may want to do is just go do what you got to do. I can't keep you from there, nor would I want to. It's your house as well. It's your property.
So it's technically, the deed is in her name.
Sure. Sure. But you're like,
let me zoom ahead a little bit here. You get the feel for him.
You live there.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, who's chiming in now? Hold on a second.
You have keys. You have access. I know you live there. We know you live there. We're not going to stand in your way from collecting your property. If you go and do your thing, and just if you get there and someone's there, we can, before you even go into the house, you could call us and, meet us over at the school parking lot area and be like, they're there right now. Can you send someone by to keep the peace? And we'd be happy to do that for you. We do that all the time. Especially if the roles are reversed. If you had been asked to leave the house, we do this all the time where, the person who has resided there has a legal right to grab things.
Yeah, I'm just going to get as many friends as I can and get out of there as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah, so if you end up being there and either if they're there already, my suggestion would be to kind of head over to the parking lot of the school and we can break the ice, keep the peace, be like, hey, Justin has every right to grab his things, and, you should cooperate with this because it's just why create more issues. I mean, it's not you live there too, with your baby and yourself for quite a bit of time. So we could break the ice first if you'd rather just do it that way and hope that they're not there.
Yeah.
And then if they
I'll
show up
that.
while you're there, just try to keep cool heads and just call us and we'll send someone right over to keep the peace, just don't even mention anything and just be like, the police will come down and we'll sort this out. I'm not trying to create any, more difficulties for any of us. And let's just call the police. They'll come down and help us,
Okay, now that baby, who's clearly either hungry, dirty diaper, something, that goes on for a number of minutes. Never an acknowledgement by, I call him the alien, that there might be some issue that, like, hey, hold on a second, I need to. If you're the judge and this is Exhibit A, for deciding custody and visitation, what does this tell you about the father?
So I have concerns, again, that the father is not commenting, is not saying, oh, I have our baby with us. Give me just a minute. I need to do something. Let me get the pacifier, whatever it is. And so to me, my immediate is he someone who demonstrates the level of attention to his own child? Or rather, is it a child that's being used to retaliate against the other spouse and being used to make a point, but really not paid attention to in the way that a parent needs to? Now, can I say from that he's a bad parent? No. Can I say he's abusing or neglecting the child? Absolutely not. But it does make me think, what kind of attention is he paying to his child, and will he pay to his child if he has the child with him more than, and why make the call when you have a child? Why can't you get a relative, a friend, a babysitter, someone else to help? Oh, I need to handle a legal matter. I need to call the police. Do you have to have the infant so close to the phone while you're doing that? The infant can't understand it. But really, can you not separate those two things if you want to protect your child?
Now, Judge Ashley, another thing is that she was shot 3 days ago. She is in the hospital fighting for her life, doesn't know if she's alive or dead. She was, as you pointed out, breastfeeding this child. Sounds hungry to me. And one other thing that I don't know, because we will talk about it after, but he had already broken into her house, lied to the police that it was his house, that he had a key, and taken his stuff. When he's calling back to the police station, getting this Katie on the phone, and going through all this with the child just wailing and continuing wailing. And Michael and I role played this last week, but we didn't know. It didn't say in the transcript, wailing baby in background who needs dirty diaper change or wants her mother's breast to suckle on.
Right. That's what I think of too. Listen, babies who breastfeed are accustomed to not just getting their food from their mother, but the smell of the mother, the feel of the mother's skin, all the things that can't be replicated by a bottle or by a father. And so again, it's that bonding that's missing. But then you question, is he really bonded to his child? Again, he's so focused on getting back in and getting his property. If that's important to you, which it is, I get, right? Well, then make arrangements to have someone appropriate take care of your baby so you can go deal with that. And I love that you brought up, Linda, that he had already lied to the police about getting in and getting his stuff. So what's important to you? Protecting your child, looking out for the best interest of your child. And I would argue if you're really looking out for the best interest of your child, even if your wife threatened to kill your child, best interest of your child would be, you need to get help. I'm going to get a restraining order and protect my child. You need to get help. But I also need to figure out how our child can see you safely, appropriately, without putting him at risk, because he is your infant.
Yeah.
Now,
And
what-
again,
and
it's always
then-
the best interest of the child. Every time I hear that baby, I have a 4-month-old granddaughter now, and I actually started lactating when I heard it. There's so much of that crying. I mean, it's just
It's true, right? You have a
it's
physical
heartbreaking.
reaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then one of the things I want to talk about, because you mentioned it, in the restraining order that he got, he told the court that he thought that she was going to kill herself and her child because she threatened to take the child far away. And the reason why we played the tape for you first is because we also got today the text. We were just reading them actually before we got on the air. And that statement was made, but it's in a completely different context, and we want to get your reaction.
Shall we look? Shall we look at
let's-
that? That was teed up
let's
so
look at that.
nicely, Linda. Let's get that up here. And I apologize for what it looks like. It's so small, and
I
I'm
got to
gonna
get my glasses.
I
Okay,
know, I'm
I'm
gonna
ready.
You
zoom
may need
in.
a microscope here.
I'm going to zoom in and move it across the page, but it is still very small. So we're going to call on the Justice Serve TV primetime players to read. Can you read this, Linda, or should I read them both?
I think you have to read it. I can't.
Okay.
Read it. Yeah.
So this first grouping, it's clearly text, one to the other.
Here, I'll read Kelsey, and you
Oh,
read
you read
the other.
Kelsey?
Mike.
Oh, you guys
Yeah.
did it great.
Okay,
Terrific.
then you're reading the left side, which that I now have queued up, and then I will move over so I can better see the right side for him.
Perfect. Okay, so
There you go.
you just woke me up to let me know I have to bring Caden to work with me.
Oops, hold it. My scroller is not working here. Hold on a sec. Sorry. There we go. You are not listening then. I will happily pick Caden up and watch him at work. I said I didn't want to be in the house at this time. You have to respect that. You are choosing to not have me watch him and bring him to work.
You're not a babysitter. You're his dad. This is our home where the three of us live.
And by being his dad, I will watch him and pick him up if you wish.
Okay, can I digress? This isn't in there. If you wish, you're the freaking dad, but I digress. All right, back to the script. You're not a babysitter, Justin. You don't watch him. You can simply just come home and be with him. You know, the home where our family lives.
Yeah, I have to shrink this. This is really hurting our delivery, Judge. I'm sorry, but this is not
Listen,
really
I'm
designed
impressed.
very well for this.
I'm impressed
Okay.
you can move it around that quickly. I wouldn't be able to.
Right now, Kels, those are the options. I will and can pick him up to be with him while you are at work, but you are choosing to bring him to work. You have to respect that I need space and time, and I will not be entering the house alone.
I need space and time. Again, not on script, but are you kidding me? All right. All right. Your space is abandoning your family. I don't understand why you can't come in our home and you won't explain it. I will not be single parenting for days and days on end.
When you strike me in the face several times and physically assault your best friends, Kels, you set the tone. I am reacting in the best way possible to find a way forward, and this is what I need. It is not about what you need anymore. We need to be the best parents possible, and I cannot do that in the house at this time.
Just not even true, but okay. Abandon your son. Thumbs up emoji. I forgot everything that comes out of Katrina's mouth is the truth, right? God, good luck to you.
Can I just say something as a director here? If I were making this Oscar-winning film, because it really is, because it's really important, is that he is setting her up by saying, in my opinion, that she hit him 3 times, because she said not even true. She doesn't know that he's already planning to get this restraining order as they're having the sex, as he's not meeting her. Okay.
Yeah, so that is important, Madam Director. Yeah, because that to put this in context makes it even more outrageous, because he knows what's going on. He knows the plan. And as we read,
so Justin the alien's part has to be read with understanding that, and Kelsey's part has to be read with her understanding.
her obliviousness.
She has no
to
idea
his
what's
plan.
coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so and Cassie, does that say Cassie? Yeah, Cassie and DeAndre and Michelle all lying. Those are, I guess, the friends. Okay.
You're missing valuable days with your son you will never get back by your own choosing. You're making me a very single mother by your own choosing. I'm rescheduling Caden's surgery right now. I will not be doing this alone. Answer the phone. Sad that you let your feelings toward me affect your son. Poor kid.
Yeah, you're right. And then we're going to be going on soon. I got to read. This is how I got these things. So let me do some flipping and flopping here. I think there's a soliloquy coming up for you, or a monologue.
Oh boy.
Because he basically starts to ghost her. Let me see if I can. This was quite the.
And I'll do a little. You guys are going to laugh when I say this because you know it to be true better than I do. Even this is why people. Be careful what you put in writing, because it will be used against you and taken out of context if you're ever facing a criminal justice system.
Yep. Let's see. Again, because these are done for whatever reason, 90 degrees off at times. I'm trying to find the right one. But I told you, did we do that? I think we did that. Okay, let me see this one. This one will not pivot. Okay, so we're going to just pick it up right here, just otherwise we'll go cuckoo.
By the way, Broken Breaker's in our chat. I want to give a shout out. Thank you, Broken Breaker.
Oh yeah, thanks,
Broken
dude.
Breaker is the one who broke the story about the phone calls and allowed us to use it. And he says, well, as we share, we all build that K together. And thank you so very much for trying to continue the work that you started last night.
That's amazing.
Okay, so Kelsey, continue.
All right. Because you have told people you are leaving, but haven't told me. Not me, that's for sure. Is there some?
I'm sorry, there is some.
Got it. Okay.
Who on earth have I told that to? You keep making things up.
Not me, that's for sure. Oh, really? I made that up. Okay. If you're leaving me, you need to call me so I can figure out my life. Not tell others, tell me.
I need space and time right now. I don't have a plan. I just know I need space and time.
Let me jump in and translate. When someone who's a parent says, I need space and time, I'm going to tell you the red flag is there for me to say, okay, they don't even want to parent the child. Space and time means I want to be by myself the way I'm reading this. But I digress. Back to my script.
And then it's kind of a guy thing, too. I will admit to that.
Oh, no, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that perspective. And it's not a bad thing, right? Everybody needs space and time. I've got 3 kids and now 2 are in college, 1's in high school. Why do you think I'm on this podcast? I need space and time. The door's closed. Do not come in. All right. Here we go. Oh, that tells me nothing. After your space and time, you are leaving because I need to come up with a plan. You're not going to leave me out in the dark on my own life. Okay, that's fine, Justin. Don't answer me. I'll just put your stuff. I'll put your stuff outside in boxes, of course. Get an attorney and sell this house. I'm not going to be set up. This is my life. Am I paying? Oh, were there words?
I don't know if I haven't. I got to see if I ever chime back in here. No, I've not chimed in. Okay.
So, am I paying our venue the $6K or should I hold off?
Ooh, not sure what that means. Oh, for the wedding. That's what that is. Only $1,500 was left to pay, and I sent you that already.
I have $6K waiting to send him. It's due July 4th. If I send it, we cannot get a refund. We cannot get a refund on anything. Would you like me to send it or hold off?
I think we're under contract to pay it regardless.
So what am I doing?
Can you send me the contract?
No, I don't have it.
Okay, moving on. No, I don't have it. Okay, then you can pick up with regardless.
Regardless, if I talk to Gene, I'm sure he will let me keep the money. Do you want me to send it or not? It's really a simple question.
Not yet. I don't know.
A laugh cry emoji tells me everything I need to know. What is that emoji called? It's a laughing hard.
Isn't that laughing so hard you're crying? Is that
There
what
we
that is?
go. That's it. Thank you, Michael. Tell me everything I need to know. Thank you. I'll send it to my parents now for their troubles and call Jean today.
Kelsey, that's not what I'm saying. I don't want any answers today. Kelsey, just hold me. Just hold me, for it's not due. That's probably not quite what he meant. Kelsey, just hold on, for it's not due till the 4th.
I'll meet you at the Common at 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now remember, this is the setup where while she's there ready to meet him, he's off getting his restraining order. So she says, "I'll meet you too." For what?
What do you mean for what? On the phone, you said we can meet up in public or go for a walk. I'll see you at the Common at 2 with Caden.
Okay, nothing. And then a little bit later, Kels, I have no debit card, no license. My gas tank is empty. I couldn't get any money this morning to drive to Caden, but Lisa and Doug are both gone for the entire day now. I have no way of getting out there now. Can we meet tomorrow instead, unless Lisa comes home and I can get some money for gas?
Okay, Michael, I want you to read that like the shit he is, okay?
I'm no actor.
Because
I can't.
yes, you're a voice actor,
Okay.
because he knows he's getting the restraining order. He's trying to, he doesn't want him, he wants to keep her away from the house, so he gets it, blah, 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 all that kind of
I'll just pick it up with, can we meet tomorrow instead, unless Lisa comes home and then I get some money for some gas?
Lisa and Doug are his parents, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You don't have enough gas to get here? I haven't gone through any of my bags yet. Besides my purse, and many of my shit was stolen as well. I will look in the other bags. I didn't even bother touching it because some substance was poured all over it that smells really bad. I will look once I get the courage to go down to the basement.
The less than 50 miles light was on before I grabbed my truck last night. That means there could be 5 miles or 20, but I have nothing, no way to get there. And Douglas is at work and Lisa is out with the doctor stuff all day, she said this morning.
Well. Okay. That's not what she said. That was my opinion. Okay. I'll give you the money in the drawer. I'm going to work now. I'll see you at the Common at 2 with our son.
The less than 50, they overlap this. Okay. Yeah, you pick, wait, do I have one in there? Yes, I do. Okay. I don't have gas to get there, Kels. You took my debit card and ID and did God knows what with it.
Justin, I was chaotically packing bags. I didn't mean to take anything.
But you still did.
My bag has stuff stolen out of it, and my other bag has something poured all over it, causing every piece of my clothing to be soaked. I will look through that one right now. Then I'm going to work.
Why'd you tell me to come over at 10 then for this kiddo if you were going to work now?
Because I wanted to sleep. I didn't sleep last night. Why does it matter? I decided to change it to 12:30. In the very bottom of my soaked bag are your toiletries, boxers, and cards. Sorry, I got my bag at 10 p.m. last night and just bawled because my clothes are ruined. My stuff was stolen. I didn't even go through it all the way. IDK, what you're talking about? Can I see you tomorrow instead? You literally work tomorrow. I will see you at 2.
Shoot, I forgot I work. Yeah, really.
Yeah, right.
And then you have a question mark, and then I say, I have no way of getting to town.
Yes, you do. Hello, Justin. Am I seeing you at 2 or not? WTF.
Kelsey,
I forgot WTF.
Kelsey, I have no gas. I physically cannot go anywhere. I'm looking for change around the house. There's none.
Yes, you do. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay, now okay. How'd you have enough gas to not be home or in then? I can't go into work. I'm done. Answer the phone. So you're out. That's why you won't come see me. I'm done. I'm done. I'm driving up to the land. I'm going to my land.
And I think this is, yes, take it away with your monologue.
Okay. Where are you? And this is the next day, or it's at 2:02, right?
Yeah,
2:02
this is-
p.m. where she's
yeah.
there waiting for him.
She's still at the Common waiting. Yeah.
That's right. With Caden, by the way. What are you doing? No, sorry. Where are you? Justin, what is going on? I'm worried. I'm really worried. Justin, are you okay? Why are you-
I'm going to stop. Here she is. She's being set up and she is worried about him, the father of her child. He couldn't give a shit about her.
Or the child, because the child's there with her and he
Right.
could go and get the child. All
And
right.
here you're going to come to the part where he lied to the court about what she meant by going long way away or something away.
Oh, good. I hadn't read these yet. So
Yeah,
this
she
is
has. Yeah, they just
fascinating.
came out. She has some land up in New Hampshire. Her dad lives up in New Hampshire, within 35, 40 minutes away. So that's what she's talking about. Okay.
Okay.
And New Hampshire's only 8 minutes away, 8 miles away.
Well, the border. Yeah.
The border.
That's a good point. Okay. All right. So she had just asked again, Justin, are you okay? And then she followed with, why are you at Hunter's with
Which
your
we think
sister?
is the bar. We think.
Oh, I wondered what that was. Okay.
Yeah.
Why are you at Hunter's with your sister? What is going on? I thought I was meeting you at the Common, all caps, yelling, what is going on? What is going on? I'm literally shaking. Why are you with girls at Hunter's house? We were supposed to go for a walk with our son. What the fuck is happening? I'm throwing up. Why are you with Latrina? Again, all caps yelling. What is going on? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me, Justin? What are you doing to me? What are you actually doing to me? Why are you with Katrina? I just need you to communicate with me. This is not fair. You made a plan with me. Making plans with me and your son and ghosting me is just so mean. I'm going far away for a long, long time. Linda,
Yeah.
that's what you
That's
referenced.
the line. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm
But
going-
it follows by putting it in context.
You could have at least told me you changed your mind instead of standing me up and making me wait at the Common for 2 hours. Just really mean. Also, crazy for you to just read all of my text, know how upset this made me. You don't love or care about me. This is so mean. Why wouldn't you just tell me you changed your mind instead of standing me up? If you drive there with Courtney, you clearly had no intention of going for a walk with me or your son. Why would you make plans with us? I packed his diaper bag and stroller and a blanket for us to sit on, just to be stood up. Why be mean about it? Why not just say, sorry, not happening anymore, change my mind? Like you called me saying you were on your way to North Andover, your mom gave you money and you would see me at 2. WTF happened. Oh, WTF. Yeah, happened since that phone call. I just have to pick up that I didn't realize he had told her he was on his way and that his mom gave him money.
Yeah.
according
He
to that.
scrounged up that gas money.
Yeah.
So he could.
But that line was, which is what he quoted the thing, he said that
She was
meant that
going
was
away.
gonna commit suicide.
Yeah.
Right. With the baby.
Yeah.
Gonna
He
kill the
took that
baby.
line and turned
And
it
that's what he
into.
told the court.
Yeah.
But
Just-
you know, I'm sorry. I just have to suggest that any good court is going to hope that somebody objects and the rules of evidence apply and that you can't just take a line. You have to look at it in context, the whole document, right? Like some of those things are bothering me.
Well, what's going
All
to
right.
happen is this will now come into this trial, but looking at that in the context of the affidavit he wrote to get the restraining order, they just took it at face value as the gospel and acted on it.
And you're right. When you have an affidavit, you can do that, but that's the danger, right? Okay. This
Yeah.
is crazy. Oh, you guys, I tune into you anyways, but wow, this is great stuff. Okay. All right.
Let's see. I moved up a little bit, so you're at the part.
If you're trying to hurt me,
if you're going to hurt me,
succeeding.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. All right. If you're trying to hurt me, you're succeeding. I feel really fucking hurt. I just want to know why you made plans with me and Caden and stood us up. Why couldn't you just have said never mind to me? Not have me wait and wait and wait at the Common for you. Ignoring the mother of your child and fiance. I don't get it. I really do not. You made it very clear I'm not your family. I will pack your belongings and put it outside for you to retrieve. I'll let you know when it's all outside. Need to get some people to help me move it all. You didn't have to lie to me and say you were meeting me. You didn't have to lead me on to think we were going for a walk. IDK, what that did for you. Why didn't you just tell me? Why did you have me sitting at the park alone with our son waiting? You knew the only way from the station to the park is to drive by Hunter's. If you did this to hurt me, it worked. I told Caden we were going to see Daddy. You're not just hurting me.
That's a gut punch right there.
Oh, there's more? Holy
a little
moly.
bit more. Yeah, you liked that big finish, didn't you?
Oh, wow, I
there's a
did.
little more.
Right? Drop mic. Okay. And for you to this point to still give me nothing and say nothing. You set this you set this huge plan to make me think my son and I were going to meet you for a walk, and then you ghosted me. I hope you know that hurts a lot more than just me. You ditched seeing your son. Like, why? Why couldn't you just have said to me you never had any intention of seeing us? I sat and waited at the park until his bottle ran out and had nothing more to give him. Why couldn't you just have called me and said you changed your mind? Why do it like this? And you're not going to say your phone is in the truck because when you click on your messages, it shows you read it. You're mean. You wanted a reaction from me. You won't get one. I'm on my way up to my land for the night. I love you. I'm sorry I'm so shitty of a person that you couldn't even see your son today. We're going to our happy place. I'll send pictures when I get service.
And this is the comments that he took out of context, told the family court to get the restraining order that she was going to kill herself and her son because she was going to a place long, long away.
Yeah, for a night.
And when
let
here,
me just
and here
say,
she says, "I love you."
Bravo to the
Yes.
performance. Bravo.
It was so much. I mean, but listen, I love that you all put things in perspective because to your point, when you take it out of context, you don't get the whole story. You have perspective because you just offered everyone all of that information.
Yeah, it's
and Judge,
and it's
she
gonna
just
come
was
in.
cleared. She was just cleared. And what amazes me is the Commonwealth moved in limine to put these messages in. These messages, I think, help her. And she just was cleared on the 30th, the day she was shot, to go back to work. She went with the baby to the police station. She took her CPR course. Everything was fine. No indication she had any alcohol problem because she's going back to work. She's getting her gun back and going back to work.
They can't have it both ways. They can't have cleared her to go back to work and then claim on that day that she was all bonkers, and wild.
Right.
Right. It's and I think, to your point, Judge, the very first part that they really wanted to get in about him saying she hit him, which she of course denies, that's as good as it gets for the prosecution. The rest, though, she sounds rational. She sounds properly pissed off. She's concerned about her son, not just him standing up her, but standing up her son. All of that to me screams mom, and much more so than whatever he does screams dad.
So I'm going to push back a little bit. I think some could view it as a little bit manipulative. Some of the things she's saying are manipulative. I can't believe you didn't just ditch me, you ditched your son. She's right, but she even says it like that's hurting him too. It is hurting him, but he is an infant. So when she says to him, I told him he was going to see his daddy, I was taking him to the park. Well, he doesn't know what the hell that means. So I'm not saying I necessarily see it as manipulative, but I promise you it will be painted as manipulative.
Yeah, I just think it doesn't sound mean enough. It sounds understandably, in my opinion, understandably manipulative, because she's gone out of her way and he's blowing her off and she's mad about it, clearly.
Fair.
And in that sense, she is trying to manipulate him and make him feel bad, as he should, but he doesn't. As Broken Baker just mentioned, this is happening when he's back and forth with the cops too, arranging to get the restraining order. Just lying from the very beginning.
And let me say this, boy, it doesn't matter if it's a friend, a colleague, a parent, a child. If I expect you to be somewhere, the downside and the upside of a cell phone is I do expect to hear from you. And if I don't, I do exactly what she did. Are you okay? What's happened? Now I'm worried. An hour later, oh my God, are you dead? I mean, that's what I would think too.
Yeah, and that's like normal psychology. That it's anger first. It's concern, and then it translates to anger, and then when she's getting no feedback. I mean, he ghosts her. There is nothing from that point on, and she goes through all those emotions that anybody would go through.
Yes.
Yeah, and yet she still says, "I love you."
Yeah.
I love you.
And I'm
this
going there for a day. Remember, she said, I'm going up there for a night. Totally contrary to what he has led the cops to believe with that affidavit.
Yeah. Yeah, and being on the phone with them too. Remember, he's already broke at one point. Afterwards, and then 3 days later, he breaks into her house and he's on the phone in the previous recording we showed you. So, I mean, if you as a judge, I mean, you've got the best interest of the child, but if the father comes across as a real more lying, more manipulative, how does that go into whether you grant like each custody, equal custody, visitation? What are the what do you do?
Right. Well, I'm going to say this. I think from my perspective, everything we know about him at this point in time, he wants his time and space, and he didn't want to deal with an effective communication to accomplish that as co-parenting. Instead, he decided to manipulate the texts and put it in his affidavit the way he wanted to get rid of her. He didn't care. He wanted to get rid of her. I want my time and space. I'm going to have my way. I'm going to stomp my feet, and this is how I'm going to do it. When all that information comes out and you're looking at custody, sometimes you have to say to people right now, you're not being a good parent. You have every right to see your child. You have every responsibility to parent your child as a father, but you've got to show me you're going to put your child first. And so you're going to have an opportunity, of course, to see your child, to visit your child, but you're not going to want to give a parent primary custody or more time with the child when you're concerned about their intentions and what they actually want, and are they going to parent the child. Now, I have to just comment on this because it's fascinating to me and it's really distressing. 2 cases that I have right now. There's a trend across the nation when a parent is having the child the majority of the time, and in my instances happens to be mothers, that the father has disappeared and not really visiting and not doing anything with the child, and then goes to court, even if the mother files something. In 2 instances, 2 different counties, 2 different judges, that it floored me with previous attorneys. And then I came in after the fact when these judges said, you know what, this looks like parental alienation. Mom, you've kept this child from the father. They have literally taken the child from the parent, the mother, the only person that the child really knows, and put the child with the father to say, Mom, you can't keep this child away from father. Father gets a chance. And this is a trend, parental alienation. We're just going to remove the child and put it with the other. The trauma and devastation that causes that child, we could go on and on about. So I'm going to suggest that in any instance, you want to avoid one parent or the other being the only one who gets to see the child, so long as the child can be safe with either parent.
Let me ask kind of an expanded version of Linda's question. You're on the bench. You've learned far more than we've been able to get into here. So it's an unfair question, but that's my specialty, unfair questions. And so how would you rule? You have one parent who has total and complete custody. Let's assume Kelsey is acquitted. I'll fill in that blank. She's now appearing in front of you. All this other information that we've shared is now in front of you. What's a likely decision?
So if she's acquitted, so no criminal charges, all you have now is the temporary protective order, the restraining order based on the affidavit. Now you hear all this information. I have not heard anything to say the child is at risk with the mother. And so I can't see a reason why. It's going to be joint legal, right? Generally in the world, it's going to be joint legal. And
how about physical?
Well, I was just going to say, you want a primary physical custodian because especially an infant, doctor's appointments and everything else, it makes most sense. I would suggest, because it's the mother who has missed out time, that she would probably have primary physical custody in my mind. For me, this is my opinion if I were the one on this case, but the father would still have significant visitation. I don't believe, one weekend, every other weekend, and 1 hour during the week on a Wednesday night is sufficient. I don't. And so he may get more liberal visitation than that. But I would suggest there are also going to be parameters. I'm going to say, listen, if you have the child for a visit, then I want you to have to spend half of that time just you and the child. You don't get to use an independent babysitter. If you can't take care of the baby, then you're going to let mom have the first right of refusal, and vice versa. If mom can't have the child during her time because she's working or unavailable, well, then father gets the first right of refusal. So you're also going to put a lot of details that are going to force them to grow up and each be parent to the child. And I don't really say the mother needs to grow up, but I do think the father does. And so you may have to really, I would put provisions on what he can do with that visitation time or what he can't do.
Would you require supervision of
At
either
this-
or both of them?
Not at this point in time. I mean, again, she's acquitted of criminal charges. That's like that didn't happen. The only one thing sticking in my head that I don't know, maybe one of you knows the answer to this. Is there any evidence? Is that line literally the only reason he said she threatened her child? Because if so, I'm not going to put any supervision on her. No.
That's
we
what
don't-
we
we don't know yet.
understand. We don't know yet, but that's
Yeah.
what we understand.
That makes a
And, you know,
difference. That's crucial.
Yeah, and
we see that.
and there may be an issue. Look, they cleared her to go back to work. That her postpartum depression, not psychosis, was treated a long time ago. That's why she was going back to work. And Tim Bradle, her attorney, said it's not an issue in this trial. It's simply not an issue in this trial. By the way, before I finish that question to you, Queen
Love the judge.
BKC1, love this judge. I also love how passionate you've been about Kelsey's case. Love the judge. That means you got to come back now. That's
Thank
the
you,
next
Queen.
one. Thank you
Listen,
very
you
much.
all knew what to ask me to talk about because I will go on and on and
No.
on.
No, but let's throw that in, because if he says, or there was some indication the defense was she didn't point the gun at Noonan, she was meant to kill herself, because all this just like, does that indicate to you that the court's going to want more parameters on her on a
Yes.
psychology or psychiatry basis, and he may have some drug issues that we've seen, and more parameters on him on a drug use basis? Talk to us
Thank
about
gosh you asked that, Linda. That makes all the difference in the world. Before I would rule, before I would say who gets custody and how much and under what parameters, I would have psychologicals done on both of them. And that assesses the mental health. Do they have, and they need to get treatment if they have those issues. I would have drug assessments, drug tests on both of them, because I do need to make certain if those underlying issues exist, which people are people. Those things happen, those things exist. That's okay. What's not okay is if you don't get them treated while you're caring, especially as a single parent during the time the child's with you, for that child. So you would want to make sure those issues are really flushed out. And if it's a problem, well, Dad, you have a drug problem and you tested positive for this, you're going to have 6 months of clean drug screens and you're going to get treatment. And I want proof of that treatment before we then, for instance, let you have unsupervised time with your child.
That'd be an
So one-
interesting irony, wouldn't it? He would be doing the urine testing for
That's
drugs.
right.
She'd be off the
That'd be
strand. Let me throw in one more
we
wrinkle.
wouldn't offer
Oh,
to pay for him, Michael.
no, we would not.
offer to pay.
Another factor, I would think, she now has her own place, her own home, rent paid for a year. He's still living with mommy and daddy.
You know what? I'm going to tell you this. Housing in and of itself isn't an issue that I would consider unless it's not appropriate for the child. And the reality is, think about this. He's living with mom and dad. That may be even safer for the child because we know there's 4 more eyes on that child. So for me personally, those kinds of things, I don't think it's fair because it could be, not in this case, but in some cases it could be because of poverty that a person's living with their mother and father. You don't want that to negatively affect their chance to parent the child. Now, this is not a case of poverty, but I'm not sure that would go
Might be.
against him.
I'm
Might be,
not-
right.
I'm not
It makes
sure.
about 90,000
Yeah.
a year, apparently, as a firefighter. So let me add to
yeah.
Michael's question, because you kind of went there where I was going. The grandparents, his parents, who we just heard a lot about, and his sister, who's also on the phone talking to the police about how they can conspire to get custody of this child, they have filed a motion not to let Kelsey's parents see the baby. Her parents have not been able to see the baby. Her father, her mother, and her stepfather have not been allowed to see that baby. I mean, does that take into account whether or not that's a safe home or one that could be charged with some kind of alienation, not allowing
Yeah.
the grandparents?
So grandparents' rights are different in every state throughout the nation. I don't know what they're like in Massachusetts, but I am going to say, for instance, in Georgia, there's now, and it's relatively new in the last 10 plus years, that grandparents even have rights under the law, right? So it depends on the state. But here's what I'm going to say. I, as a judge, never had a lot of tolerance for that kind of bullshit.
Good for you.
If you are parenting this child, you are going to embrace the paternal relatives and the maternal relatives. And the only reason I would at all consider whether or not they should be considered is if you have real evidence that they have abused or neglected or are putting that child at imminent risk. Otherwise, stop. I don't want to hear it. So if there's evidence of that, that's different. If there's no evidence of that, you're not doing that to this kid. They get to know their relatives. Parents,
and the way
start
we interpreted
co-parenting.
yeah, it was like punishing them because of their connection to that side of the family. Anybody connected to Kelsey, we're taking you down.
I see that all the time, Michael. I see that all the time. And you can tell I didn't have the tolerance for it. I still don't have the tolerance for it.
You used the legal word bullshit, I think.
Yeah, it is. And here's the other thing I have to say, and people, we get caught up in the emotions, right? And when we're emotional, I cuss a lot. I have a temper. I know that about myself. When people are emotional and they have a child that has to go back and forth between two homes because of divorce, I think what often gets lost is the reality that they have to remember, no matter what, they have to co-parent. They have to put all their petty and all their maybe real grievances aside to co-parent. And that's very hard to do, but that's what people have got to start doing.
Like adults. Yeah. Crazy.
Gee whiz, like an adult that have a child.
Concept.
No, really, just amazing. Do you think that a court would appoint a guardian ad litem for this child?
Yeah. I love you guys. Yes, Linda, absolutely. At least in my state, absolutely. And often they're appointed regardless. So guardian ad litem is either an attorney or a person who's been trained as one who's not an attorney, depending on the state. Generally, it's an attorney, and they are there to serve the best interest of the child for the court. So in Georgia, for instance, the person appointed has to go through training. They have to be qualified under the statute. There are all these different things they have to look at to consider what's in the best interest of the child. And then they make a recommendation to the court that is very detailed, very thorough. They've gone to the mother's home, the father's home. They've talked to the grandparents. They've talked to collaterals to be able to say, Judge, this is what I think is in the best interest of the child. And in Georgia, I'll tell anybody, if you have a guardian ad litem, guess what? The judge is probably going to go with that. So be careful because that's just the way, that's why the judges use a guardian ad litem.
Sure. And at some point, the parents can prove to the court that's no longer necessary.
Yes.
But that's not the default position.
Right.
This is a little off topic, but I want you all in the chat to please show your love for Judge Ashley. There's almost 1,000 people that right now are watching. All right. And we know there's going to be about 4,000 or 5,000 within the next few hours that'll rewatch this. You have to hit that like button, because if you don't show that you like her, YouTube's going to think you don't like her, and it's not going to promote the show. It's going to suppress the show. Okay. So all you have to do is just a little teeny weeny little like button. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, please, if you could. I mean, then you'll get a notification every time Judge Ashley's on, which sounds like it's going to be a lot because we're going to be covering this case.
Yeah.
And of course, we love her, and we're so happy that we can get back together with her on the Justice Served TV. So hit that like, subscribe, share, notify, and after the show finishes, you can hit that hype button. And if you wish to become a member for $2.99, that too, and then you can see Michael, because Michael's much better than I at members. But we will get back to who killed Stephanie Vilko. That's a little tease. Remember, we started that months ago. We haven't gotten back to that, but we will. It's still sitting in my StreamYard, and I have emailed the people that have sent me things. And what we have to try to learn next from our moderators is how I get so I can talk to you in the chat when we do a private members only, because that seems to be a significant issue.
Yeah, Judge, we have no idea what we're doing. So we just
only been a year and a half.
Flunking along.
I've still got my rotary phone. I'm old school. So
there you go.
just saying.
There you go.
Is anything that we missed, Judge, that we should be asking you about this case that stands out?
I don't think so, other than a caution it is so subjective, a court determining what's in a child's best interest. You can have the law say you consider these 21 things, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of discretion by the judge about what the decision is going to be. And so I think what I would emphasize is pay attention to the facts, because you certainly want to ensure that that subjective decision is based on the facts that exist in the particular case. And this is one where the devil's in the details of these facts. And I just think it's crucial to look at all those details.
And hopefully that's what we will see. The family court matter, April 2nd. And at that point, hopefully there will be an acquittal in Kelsey's past, which can take that off the board. Judge Ashley, amazing.
You guys are amazing.
Missed so much working with you.
Me too.
We had a pretty good thing going there. So anyway.
Yeah, but now you've got a great thing going here, and thank you again for including me today.
Oh, I got you on speed dial. So,
Yes, see now,
I'll take it.
Monday comes up very soon.
that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
and you get the back you get the back door of our StreamYard, right now of your guests, but Michael will just like put you in as a host. I mean,
And
you
I'll
don't
say
know what
this.
you got yourself into.
I'm going to tell everybody watching this, if you don't like it, then you hit the like button and explain why I was so bad, right? Like,
there you
hey.
go.
There you
Yeah.
go. Right.
Yeah, she's
Right.
hanging
Well,
it
we
out
do
there.
that.
I like that. All right.
Yeah, I love it.
Challenging.
All
Thank you,
right.
Judge. We appreciate
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Take care.
it. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
That's
Well, I know we
fun.
kept her longer than
the
we
good old
said,
days.
but we kept her longer. But she's got so much information, and it's so important that they hear from Judge Ashley, because that's the kind of judge who should be dealing with this case. And I think now that we've gotten rid of Judge McCarthy Naaman and we've gotten to Judge Carp, we're in Carp. We're Carp.
Yes.
Yes,
And
Carp,
in the family court,
and in the
Judge
family Judge
Mary Black, who
right.
seems
really
pretty
terrific
good.
also.
Yeah.
But we've always loved Ashley. We're so happy to be able to work with her again here at Justice Serve TV, and hope that she will come on again. Hope that she'll co-host with you, Michael.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that after I get a sense of what the hell's happening next week, because now that there's no jury involved, it's gonna move, I think, pretty quickly.
Now, there's one
Monday or
other thing.
Tuesday. Yes.
There's one other thing we have to deal with, okay? And this I have to go on to. I think I don't know. Let me see if I can share the screen.
Have to make sure I give everybody the domino fix. There he is.
There's
There he
Domino. There he is. Now, let's see. I have to. Let's see. Hold on a second. I have to do something. Share screen. All right. Share screen, and I have to select a tab to share.
What are we doing?
I want to share our music video on Afroman that we made. Now I can do that by going to our YouTube page, but what I'm trying to do is open with I don't know what to open. I'm going to have to open it in just in case there's a double feed. Just bear with us for a second, because I have to actually get on the.
You're just sharing the video, right?
Well, it's the video, but it has the music with it.
Well,
so
yeah, it should be fine.
Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Just bear with me.
You're really killing the big finish we had going here. Let's go.
We have a big finish going here. This is a big finish, because tomorrow night we are going to be doing Afroman, and that jury. Woo, man. Okay. Whoa, that's not the case. That's not the share screen I wanted to do. Hold on.
Okay.
That's not the share screen I wanted to do. This is keep talking, Michael.
I was actually looking for Catnot Williams to see what was the latest. All I heard was there's a verdict. Did we hear a verdict yet?
Yeah, he won everything. There's no verdict for the plaintiffs. In other words, the verdict is
0 for 7.
Yeah, 0 for 7. So let me see if this is open.
Yeah, that was. I didn't see that little nugget. I'm looking back at it.
Oh, you didn't see that?
I was like this, and I mentioned this earlier because I think it was just dead wrong. But WCPO is the station that had the feed. This is a very interesting shot, I thought. But they had an order from the court saying that they were going to be the camera and nobody else could use it. They were not going to be the pool.
That was unbelievable. What kind of nonsense is that?
Totally illegal. And there were other outlets that had asked about, sharing the stream and the court shut them down, said CPO is going to be the camera and they don't have to share it if they don't want. Well, everybody else just thumbed their nose at that. Obviously, we have talked about it. We're going to share some of it. Catnot Williams, let us know if they haul you off to jail, because obviously she's the one spearheaded the coverage of the entire case. It sure wasn't CPO. Oh, there it is. Okay.
There it is. Okay. So let me see. Let me get this. Let me see. Now I have to play it. Okay. Because I don't have you to back me up here, but I've been learning as our chat goes.
There you go.
Okay, here we go.
I can hear it. You're good. Now hit the full screen button over there.
Drop one line, now the whole room bend. Walking court like what's the charge today? They said you crossed lines, I said no way. I just made a song, told a little truth. Now everybody mad, guess it hit too smooth. They don't like jokes when it's aimed up high. Only when the little guy the punchline got, but I flipped that script, put the lens on power. Now they real nervous every single hour. You said free speech, yeah, I said it again. First Amendment, I don't follow your trends. Satire king, I don't need to pretend. Drop one line, now the whole room bend. Yes, Afroman with the mic again. Turn a courtroom woman and devour a man. They said tone it down, he said not today. Freedom of speech don't fade away. Drop one line, whole courtroom froze. Half said wow, other half said whoa. Just lean back like did he
probably say again anyway. They said, watch yourself. I said, I am. That's why I'm speaking. You don't understand. If truth get risky when you start to speak, then maybe it's with the thing you trying to keep. He said, I ain't trying to get Epstein, man. Whole room shook, now they switched the plan. That ain't a joke, that's a warning sign. When truth gets dangerous, read between the lines. Satire shop, get cut real clean. Say it with a smile, but you know what I mean. They try to box and try to shut it down. I was headlines running every time. Free speech, yeah, I said it again. First Amendment, I'll follow your trends.
I don't need to pretend. Drop one line at the whole room then. Like the courtroom theme. Truth is louder than it's ever been. If satire scares them, then you know it's real. Just a script to feel. Woo!
Is this song available on DVD or?
Well, I mean, we spent hours writing it with various IAs last night, and the words are, we did the words we put the words on X, so you have the words. I also have the words on our YouTube channel there, and yeah, I have recorded a rap before. Another one that we'd written.
I remember that.
We did with Jimmy, played a bit of it.
Did you sing? Did you sing?
I
in that
sang
one,
that. I sang it.
Yeah.
Yes, I sang in that one. Yeah. So go look at the words. Hopefully, Afroman will pick it up, and he's welcome to use it. All of you are welcome to use it. Okay, you know. Right. So now I have to learn how to take this off the screen, Michael and Brian. But I think we'll do that. There we go.
One thing at a time. There we go. You got it.
You got it. Okay. So not only did we write the rap and the lyrics last night because I thought it was important. This is a really important case. Okay. If you like satire, and it's also an important case for Aiden's case, who I represent in New Jersey. It's an important case for a lot of First Amendment issues here. I mean, come on. If you can't have a satire or call the cops as he did, they went into his house, they broke his camera, according to him, they flipped off the bird, according to him, they stole $400, according to them, and so he went after them, and then they decided to sue him. And you know that jury, all right, everyone, we were all worried about whether it's deliverance versus a civil rights case. The jury had, everybody was white, everyone got it. Come on, if you got to be able to take it. This is bullshit.
Well, we're going to talk about that in some detail tomorrow. I'll give the takes of Mark Betterow and Doug Weinstein.
Yeah, and
I have a legal analysis that doesn't come to the same conclusion as the jury for one plaintiff, and I'll leave it at that for now. What's her name again?
Lickum Lolly.
That's the one. That's the one. I got you to say it.
That's what you got me to say. And what happened is Katnott Williams, I want to give her another shout out because it wasn't for her. All right, with Katnott Williams, she posted that, and then she posted that little clip of that opening where the plaintiff's attorney said that, right?
Yeah.
You know, and when we hooked on it, I said we would do it, and we set it up for Thursday because we were all doing this. And Mark Betterow didn't know about the case, and he looked at it. He was interested in it. Doug Weinstein's been fascinated, loved about it. Jim Robichaud loves it. Everybody is loving it. And he just sat there. I mean, he is amazing to me. It's one of the best cases ever, and he has the best line, and that's what we subtitled our song. No want to get no Epstein.
No, nobody wants that.
He took a film camera with him to the police station where the person in property admitted that $400 was missing. All right, that it was missing.
It was a mistake. That's what they said. Yeah, it was
a mistake. And so he said, we asked him on the cross examination, which is direct examination, but it was cross. So they called him and said, well, why you do that? I did that because I don't want to get no Epsteins. Okay, best line ever.
Can't blame him for that.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get into that deeply tomorrow. And
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. That's a good idea. All right, then. Thanks for bearing with us a little bit longer than usual. We had some important stuff to get done. And Judge Ashley Wilcott, amazing on this very important Kelsey Fitz Simmons case with the kids. And also Tracy, who was able to help us figure out this. You know, are these things addictive to kids? These apps and things.
That
big case out in California.
Well, here I am. I'm on my phone the whole time looking.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Are you blaming that on the app?
No, I'm blaming on my shopping addiction. Somebody asked about my shirt. Okay. All right. And you know that I wear a lot of designer clothes, and I also I've told you all about, even though it's not Fashion Friday, because we may not see you live on Fashion Friday. We may have a pre-taped episode. So this is kind of like substituting for Fashion Friday. It's not as good as Afroman's wrapped in
Flag
American
suit,
flags,
yeah, the flag suit.
the new defendant clothing and all. But this is from Amazon, all right, like $30, all right. So you can do your own shopping.
It's all how you wear it, girlfriend.
Oh, thank you, girlfriend. You go. Okay, we've trained Michael, haven't we? All right.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we're smiling because we hope that Kelsey Fitz Simmons next week's in our role. You know how we feel about it. We feel that she has been unfairly treated. The court system unfairly treated. It's trying to right itself, and we are so happy for that. So you have to like us, subscribe, share, notify, and hype. Please do it now.
All righty then. Have a great evening, everybody. Thanks for joining, and we will see you again tomorrow here at Justice Served TV. In the meantime, please try to do the right thing.